Greetings, this is another reader. Welcome back to my channel. So in this video I will tell you what I'm going to read in 2022. The last year was great and I hope this one will be great too. This video will be split into 5 categories. The first category is rereading the books that I had read in Russian, now in English. The very first book that I will be reading this year, The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. I am already reading it. The next book I'm going to be reading, And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie. And the last book, The Hound of Baskervilles by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. The book was given to me by my mom back in 2010. I remember that I was going through my bookshelves and saw the Russian version and thought of reading it, but then I remembered that I have the English version, so here it is. I remember that I struggled to read this back in the day, but now it's no problem for me. The second category is also reading the books in English, but it also overlaps with continuing the series category, The Lord of the Rings. I wanted to read The Two Towers in December, but things prevented me from reading it. So I'm going to read the Two Towers and Return of the King this year. I have already finished this and it was a very long journey. You know, I've made an interesting decision this year. I decided to make 2022 a year of sci-fi. Yes, I read some books like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and Tough Voyaging and but I will try getting into it this year. Third category is rereading, and both books that I will be reading are sci-fi books. The first book that I will be reading is Orphans of the Sky by Robert Heinlein, in Russian translated as Passenki Vселенной, so the stepsons of the universe for some reason. When a bookstore opened in my area, my aunt got this to me. I read it 7 years ago. And the second book is of course one of my all-time favorites, Ender's Game. I absolutely love Ender's Game. I love the cover, I love the edition. When I finish reading the Ender's Game, I will also make a video of why it's worth reading. I already have a video named Why It's Worth Reading, the book Thief. So the fourth category is a big one, continuing this series. As you can see, my shelves are empty because I took out the books to show them to you. I'd like to warn you that this is in random order. I'm not going to read them at a particular time. I will read them wherever I want this year. And the first book I want to show you, The Witcher. This is book 6, The Tower of the Swallow. I will try to find the Lady of the Lake and finally finish The Witcher nearly 4 years later. I bought the first book in 2018 and I hope to get the last one this year. You know, when I first discovered the Stormlight Archive, there were only 3 books. I thought I would read only 3, but then and I knew I had to get it. When I was reading Offbringer, I had probably 2 months of unreading. I mean, I didn't have the desire to read. But after I came back from Hungary, I did. Before the New Year's Eve, I finished the 3rd book. I knew I couldn't handle Rhythm of War this year, so I will be reading it this year. I've lost the count of how many times I showed Dune in my videos, at least this one, the first 3 and the last 3 books, The God Emperor of Dune, Heretics of Dune and Chapter Hearts of Dune. By the way, when I saw that there were English editions of Dune, just the first book, which were the same size as this book, which contains the first 3 books in the series. You know, I doubt this is actually a series. This is actually one book split into 3 parts, but because my copy is indeed split into 3 parts, I decided to count Atlas Shrugged, as a series. This is the first one, I have already read it, and these are the second and third. I've already began reading the second, but I stopped, and I'm going to continue this year. I can't say that I'm a huge fan of Ayn Rand, but I'm interested in her work. I will get some of her other works in the future, especially given that the shop in my area has them. And of course I'm going to be reading Wheel of Time, The Eye of the World, I already read it. The Great Hunt, I began reading it last year. The Baby Frodo bookmark. This is The Great Hunt, and this is Rhythm of War, Part 2. They're literally the same size, I didn't realize that. The Dragon Reborn and Shadow Rising. So there's actually one problem. There are already 7 books published in Russian, new editions, but it takes time and a lot of money to get them here from Russia. So I'll probably need a lot of time to read Wheel of Time, but I will read it nonetheless because this series is very great. I like the first one, even though it was very slow, and I like the second one, what I read so far, even more. And now fifth and final category, new books. I haven't read these before, and it will be my very new experience reading them. The first book is obviously Paradise Lost by John Milton. I'm very interested in reading this poem. Yes, probably the English words are going to be confusing to me, despite that this version is adapted for modern audience. But I accept the challenge. Second book I got myself recently, it's Murder at Orient Express by Agatha Christie. I wanted this for quite a long time, but I couldn't find the right edition, and when I saw it in Moscow I couldn't buy it because by the time I ran out of money. But I finally have myself Murder at Orient Express. This is going to be great. The third and last book for this category and the whole video is Uncle Tom's Cabin by Harriet Beecher Stowe. Yes, I know I've mentioned on this channel that I have already read it as a child, but I don't remember much. And this is going to be a new experience for me. I will refresh my memories of this book. And that's all. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed my video. What are the books you are going to read this year? Let me know down in the comments. Please like and subscribe, leave a comment. Oh, I now have a Linktree, so all my social media links like Instagram and Twitter are on Linktree. So follow the Linktree and follow me on social media. See you next time. Goodbye.